Hello everyone, welcome to Oxygen Not Included, a new update, Occupational upgrade. So since this update just came out a few days ago, now I will be covering a few features that I think is important that you need to keep in mind when you're playing this new upgrade. So let's have a look at the patch notes first. So here we go. We have a new item added to the facility. This new update is called job boards added. So you can assign dupes into new jobs positions, and for skill improvement, unique traits, and cool new hats. So you can see already they are wearing different hats. That means they have different jobs to do. So there are new converter wheel system, and also there's a bunch new items that we'll be covering in the next video. So this video will be only talking about occupations. And there are some food, plant-free balance, which is good. Tons of bugs fist. Okay, so let's get started. And not to start a new game, but I would like to show you how to select dupes in the very beginning of this game. There are a few tips I would like to offer you. Okay, so now we're on the screen of choosing 3 dupes to begin with. So keep in mind these 3 dupes will be with you the longest, so you want them to be good. So you have to really put in some thoughts when you're selecting and deciding who you want. So to begin with, I would like to mention they have changed the attribute. For 2 of them, they got rid of the medicines and the immunity. They added farming skills and kindness. Kindness is basically the same with medicines, and it has compound treatment speed and also have plus in medical care speed. For farming, it's just for harvesting speed and tending the garden, the speed of tending the garden, also the seed drop chance. They whenever you get this, whoever has the farming skills to harvest all your plants, and there will be a higher chance for a seed drop when they're doing it. Okay, so that's the first things I would like to mention. The second thing would be to pick the high, like, so in my last video, not my last video, the video before this update I did for choosing the 3 dupes in the very beginning of the game, I mentioned it's better to choose someone who has a very variety in the attributes. They can do a lot of things, but it doesn't really matter that they are good at one thing, bad at the other. So in this new update, it's no longer suitable for this new update. Later on in the game, I'll show you why, but here I'll just briefly mention it a little bit. So in this game, since they have jobs, so jobs is different than the one before. You can actually give them a career, and they will start to develop a career on the career that you have employed them to. For example, there are miners, there are chefs, there are different type of occupations. So the reason to choose someone who is good at really just one of this attribute is it gives them a head start in the career, and also that if they're not good at something, it's really hard for them to master that level of the career, and they cannot. If it's hard for them to master the first level, it's very hard for them to get to the next level, and there will be some jobs they cannot perform. So keep that in mind before you choose some dupes, and I will do some further explanation once we get into the game. But here, just keep in mind, choose someone who is really good at something but kind of just okay or even 0 with all other attributes, especially in digging. Okay, so that's the second tip I would like to offer you, and the third one would be the interest. So what does interest mean? They have different interests. Okay, that's fine. They like doing it, but it also means they will level up like farming skills, operational. For example, take this tip list for Lisa, for example. So she will level up farming skills, operating skills, and tidy skills much faster than other dupes. And it also means if you signed all the jobs priority as 5, by the way, the priority 1 to 9 is back now. It's no longer 1 to 5 anymore, it's 1 to 9, which I find it easier to play like that. So if you signed all the jobs as priority number 5, and she will always choose to operate, tidy things up, and farming before any other, such as digging, tinkering, stuff like that. So she will choose these 3 over the others. So it's best to have someone who has a variety interest under their interest traits. That's my third tips for choose the 3 dupes to begin with. My fourth tips, it's the same as the video that I did before this update about how to choose duplicates in the beginning of the game. One of the next traits that you will really need to look out for is Yoko. So this means they cannot level up their learning by doing research, and it also means they cannot perform research, and because they cannot perform research tasks, they cannot level up their learning. This is fine if they already have high-based learning skills, but if not, or they even have some minus learning skills, that means they will level up all other skills much slower than the dupes who have high learning skills. And since they can't perform research, they cannot level up their learning skills, so they can never change it. So you will have a dupe that is permanently very slow on learning all the new things, and you don't want that, because when the game is progressing and the dupes keep running around, they will speed up their running speed very fast because they're running around the base. But for the dupes who has this negative trait, they will even level up their running speed slow. So that means everyone else can run faster and deliver stuff faster than them. Then they will be the only snail in the game, like very slow, just But it's not a problem if they have higher based learning skills already, but it never happens, because Yoko means they don't like learning. Why would they have higher based learning skills anyway? So watch out for this negative trait. I don't like this negative. It's all other negative traits is fine with me. Even the loudspeaker is just kind of disturb your presentation of your base, and you have to give him a independent section for him to sleep. But I guess it's fine. As long as the base is functional, nobody really cares how it looks. Somebody who has OCD like me do care a little bit, so normally I wouldn't select a loud sleeper if they are not that good, even they're not like have 13 in digging and loud sleeper, yes please. But if not, I will never select loudspeakers, and also the Yoko. So watch out for the Yoko negative trait. That's the fourth thing I would like to cover in selecting a dupes. Now we're going to move on to start a new game. I'm not going to change anything, so these dupes are fine. I'm just giving you some examples and let's go. So here what I like to show you is a new facility or desk, I should say. Right here is called job board. So this jobs board will give you access to employment, occupations, and you can help the little dupes, give them employment, that they don't have to be unemployed for all their lives, which is a good thing. So be aware of this jobs board is under station, and you don't need to do any research to build this board. You don't need to do any research. So you can build it as soon as the game starts, as soon as you have some raw materials, metal. Okay, let's just wait for, here we go. So let's build this. And I'll show you what it looks like. Take that up. Take that up. So let's just pause for a minute before it is built. And you can see once you click on jobs, there are some changes. For these sections, the second half of the screen, these sections is the same of like it just before this update. All the jobs, and there are different boxes. You can click them, unclick them, make them perform this task, not perform this task. But this section is completely new. So this is a section where you can actually give them jobs, employ them to a certain career, and they will start to develop skills in that career, and they will move on to the next level, and they will just keep moving on. There are 3 tiers for each career for all of them. Before they finish the training for tier 1, they will not be able to move on to the next tier, which is tier 3 for miners, for example. So if they cannot move on, we will have a look later on. That means there are some tasks they aren't able to perform. I'll give you an example once this jobs board is built. All right, there we go. So now the jobs board is built. So now all my dupes, they don't have any hats. So let's see if I assign them to something, they will wearing hats. So here's you wonder how interest shows like. It shows like there's a green heart. That means he likes to perform digging, and that also means he is going to level up digging faster than all other dupes. So I'll just, according his interest, I assign him. You don't have to assign someone according to their interests. For example, they have higher architecture skills, and you can assign them to builders as well. But certainly it's not his interest. But you don't have to if you don't want to. Just to remind you. Let's have a look. What are the occupations? So we have miners, the top one. I have builders, architecture, and then we have golfer, which is a supplier. So they will just run around carrying stuff. Basically, they will just, for example, you build all those storage to store stuff, and they will be the one who keep sweeping and then storing stuff. So we have engineer right here on tier 2. So see, they have all different tiers, and different tiers, the dupes under that tier, they have different expectations. That is really funny. It's also what makes this game more interesting, because it's now getting closer and closer to real life. So see, the first level, when you're on the first level of your job, the intern level, we call it, like an intern, something like that, and you don't expect much. You don't care about your environment. You don't care even sometimes if you have a desk or not, in real life. And you care if there are plants. And basically, you just want to do the job. You really want the job. That's the entrance level. And the second level, tier 2, you start to have better expectations. Oh, I want the food to be better. I want better decorations. In tier 3, it's plus 50 expectations for decorations. And tier 4 is plus 2 standard food. Tier 5 plus 75 expectation for decor. And tier 6, which is the highest, we have plus 3 in food expectations. Wow. It must be really hard to get to reach that expectation. I don't know. I think it's hard. I don't feed my dips really well. Oh well. Where else can they go? They're trapped with me, right? So here, once you employ them onto different careers, they will start to develop job experience. They start to obtain job experience. As soon as this experience hit 100%, you will get the notifications on your game screen says that, okay, somebody has mastered these jobs, and you can choose to either promote him or not. So I would show you another game that I have already started a little bit, and I'll show you how to promote someone and what's different does it make whether you promote him or not, or you just let him stay in the same tier he was before. So there's some cute animations about this new update. They will come to the job board and they'll put on some new hats, and they're happy about getting a job just like us, but only for a moment, and they go back to unhappy face soon after, just like us. I love this game. Okay, so anyway, remember I mentioned in the beginning of the game when to choose someone who has higher digging skills. The reason for that is because if they don't have really high digging skills and you don't put them on miners, so they will, if they don't complete this training, they will never be able to dig this up. See? So if you select all this, there's no red notifications says you cannot dig it up, but you select that area, see, there you go, and you move your mouse to it, it says that lack of miner and season miner. So what are miners and season miners? So here have a look, there are 3 tiers. The first level are miners, and the second tier, which is tier 3, which is called a miner, and then you have the ultimate miner, it's called season miner. Then they can mine those very farm materials. So if they are on the entrance level of their career, there will be some tasks they won't be able to perform, which is a deal breaker, really, a setback. And it's really hard for you, because if you don't build this jobs board as soon as possible, they won't start to gain experience. It won't show it up here. I'm sorry. They will still gain experience, but it won't show up here. So you cannot see this, so this whole area will be gray. And you cannot, of course, promote them. And if you can't promote them, they cannot perform that task. It doesn't matter they have mastered the first tier or not. Even though they have mastered first tier, if you don't promote them, they still won't be able to do those tasks. So it's just like real life, you know, like a common sense. You're in the entrance level, even you have the skills to perform the next level tasks, but your company will never let you because you don't have that title. You know, you're not qualified. You have to have some sort of certificate, which is stupid, but that's what makes this game interesting. They start to adopt some real life actions now into this game, which is quite cute. Very cute. So now I have gone through all the stuff I would want to cover in this video. Now I'm going to show you, not save, so because I don't want this. So now I'm going to show you. Whoops. That's not what I want. Menu. there was a game that, yeah, right here. So I built a new base just for this update. Load game. So I'll give you you can have a look. So I open this job board and you see I have promoted some of the little dupes, and there are some I have not promoted them because I don't want they to have higher expectations for the food and the deco, because I don't have any, and I have better food, I don't have better decos. So I didn't promote these two because I've already got it covered. So right here I have promoted someone to miner. So now she can do the jobs, the tasks for all these very firm and hot areas, all those rocks. So now if I select and click dig, she can dig them. Remember in the game, the new game I was in before, when I was showing you, when I click on it, it says that there is no person dupes in my game that is qualified to actually dig this area. Now since I have her, my miners in under tier 3, she is qualified to perform that task. So if you want to build a water tank, polluted water tank, you want to get your resources recycle, start to recycle all your waters, and you need those farm materials to build a water tank. And so that means you will need to promote a miner as soon as possible. So it is very crucial that you build the jobs board in the very early of the game. I suggest the first day, because it doesn't take much to build it. It doesn't need anything. You don't even need to do any research for it. So now here's everything I would like to cover in this tutorial. So next tutorial we will cover some new equipment like the steamers and all that in the next tutorial, because right now I haven't got there yet. So that's all for now for this tutorial, and if you like it, if you like the videos, give it a thumb up, and if you want to watch more videos, subscribe this channel, and thank you all for watching.